Hi, this is AJ. Welcome to episode 142 of Here's What I Watched. In this episode, I want to talk about the Keery and Georgina Campbell movie Cold Storage, which was directed by Jonny Campbell and adapted from the novel by David Koepp, who also wrote the screenplay. I like this movie a lot. It's the only thing I've seen directed by Jonny Campbell, and it's nowhere near the best thing I've seen written by David Koepp, but it did work for me as a horror comedy, and I would definitely recommend it. And what the movie's about? Well, it's about a very dangerous mutating parasitic fungus that was originally discovered and contained decades earlier, and it was put into cold storage deep underground beneath a military facility. But eventually, that facility gets decommissioned and repurposed as an ordinary self storage warehouse that's run by civilians who had no idea what was originally stored there. And then two fairly ordinary employees who work at that self storage facility suddenly find themselves having the wildest night shift ever when something deep below the building fails and that fungus escapes from cold storage. And this fungus is very unpredictable. It spreads quickly and it can infect anything that gets in its path, whether it's animals or humans, whatever. Once it gets into the brain, it has control over the organism. So there's times when it feels good watching a creature feature or a zombie film or something. And of course, these two employees have no idea what they're dealing with here, which leads to a lot of humor, but also some genuinely scary situations, though they eventually do get some help from a member of the team who contained the threat in the first place. There's a few things that don't work quite as well as they should have, or a moment or two where I was a little confused by the way the movie was jumping around in time, but there's a lot to like here. Cold Storage has a clever premise that's fairly well executed, and it does a good job of playing it both for laughs and for genuine tension. I like the characters. They're great on screen together, and I loved all their back and forth. Cold Storage isn't trying to be anything profound, which is fine. It's basically a modern B movie with a decent budget, so if that's what you're in the mood for, there's a lot to like here. There was a fair amount of gore, but not more than I could handle. I laughed out loud several times, and it kept me on the edge of my seat all the way through, so yeah, I would absolutely recommend the movie.